Hi Sarah, have you ever thought about how advanced mobile phone technology has become over the past decade?
Oh, absolutely, Alex. It's amazing to think about. I remember when smartphones first started becoming popular, and now we have foldable screens, 5G networks, and cameras that rival professional ones.
I know, right? The progress is mind-blowing. It feels like every year, companies are pushing the boundaries of what phones can do. Speaking of which, do you follow any of the major smartphone brands?
Yes, I follow most of the big ones like Apple, Samsung, and Google. I'm really impressed with how each company tries to differentiate itself in a very competitive market. Apple, for instance, focuses on the ecosystem and user experience, while Samsung is more about innovation in hardware, like foldable devices.
Exactly. It's interesting how Apple is more about refining its product year after year, while Samsung and others are experimenting with new form factors. Foldable phones are such a cool concept. Do you think they'll become mainstream?
They definitely have potential. The idea of having a phone that doubles as a tablet is appealing, but I think the durability and high cost are still concerns. Once they work out those issues, they could become more common.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's the software side. It's one thing to create innovative hardware, but if the software doesn't support it well, it won't be successful. That's where I think companies like Google have an advantage, since they control Android, the most popular mobile operating system.
True, Android has come a long way. I also find it fascinating how many phone manufacturers rely on Android but still manage to create unique user experiences. Look at brands like OnePlus or Xiaomi. They built loyal followings by offering high specs at lower prices compared to the big names.
That's a great point. The mid-range and budget phone markets have grown a lot, especially with brands like Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo offering phones with premium features at affordable prices. It's definitely putting pressure on companies like Apple and Samsung.
Yeah, and it's also forcing the bigger brands to think about how they can add value beyond just hardware. That's why services like cloud storage, app ecosystems, and security features have become so important in recent years.
Absolutely. Speaking of security, the race to develop better privacy protections is another huge trend. With so much sensitive data on our phones, companies need to ensure their devices are secure from hacking and privacy breaches.
Yes, and with all the advancements, 5G is another game changer. The speed and connectivity it offers will open up new possibilities, not just for phones, but also for IoT devices, autonomous vehicles, and smart cities.
I can't wait to see how 5G shapes the future of tech. But at the same time, with so many new phones and features coming out every year, do you think the market is becoming oversaturated?
That's an interesting question. I do think there's a lot of competition, but in a way, that drives innovation. Companies are always trying to outdo each other, which benefits us as consumers. However, I do wonder if we're reaching a point where the improvements from one model to the next are becoming less significant.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Sometimes it feels like the changes are more incremental, like a slightly better camera or a faster processor, but nothing revolutionary. Maybe we're getting to a point where the hardware is so advanced that it's harder to keep making big leaps.
Exactly. Maybe the next big revolution will come from something else, like augmented reality or artificial intelligence, that changes how we interact with our phones and technology in general.
That's a great thought. AI is already playing a big role in things like voice assistants and photography enhancements. I wonder how much further it will go.
Time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the smartphone industry is always evolving, and I'm excited to see where it goes next.